Hey team, it's Mr. Z, and to kick off our new unit, we're going to go ahead and focus on our first skill, vertical line test. Let's take a closer look, shall we? Alright, in each situation, I need to determine whether the graph is a function using the vertical line test. I just want to take the opportunity to review a function. A function is usually represented by f of x, function with a variable of x, and it could look like 2x. Now, a function, what essentially has is it's one input for every output. Some people call 1 to 1. I'm going to make that a little bolder. 1 to 1. Now, why is it considered 1 to 1? For example, in this situation, if I let x be 2, I plug 2 in, and I get f of 2 equals 4. That means for the input 2, I have an output of 4. A non-function would be something like f of x equals the square root of a number. If I plugged in 4, that would mean the square root of 4. And the square root of 4 is going to be plus or minus 2, meaning that my points would be 4, 2 and 4, negative 2. This guy is 1 to 1. This guy is 1 to 2, meaning that this is a function and this is not a function. Let's go ahead and take a look vertically on how to assess graphs. There are no equations given. So I'm going to use the vertical line test, the AKA test, if it's 1 to 1. And when I go ahead and test, some of you might be like saying, well, it doesn't hit this. Well, eventually it will. If I extend the graph, it'll go down and it'll hit it about here. Now zoom in. Some of you might be saying, Mr. Z, it hits the graph twice. Well, there is an assumption that each of these points are slowly further and further to the left and right. So it's going to have to be a very clear-cut example when it is not a function. This graph is clearly a function. Although it might look like that it hits it twice, it is not. It is only once. So my conclusion is it passes the vertical line test. And my conclusion from this is the graph is a function. Let's take a closer look. I also know from advanced knowledge that this resembles, it's going to be f of x is going to be a negative x to an even. The reason I know it's even is because it looks like a u. The reason I know it's a negative is because it is reflected over the y-axis. This is just bonus site. This next one, boom. I draw a line. On a test, this would be full credit, and it fails the vertical line test. And my conclusion is that it is not a function. Looking at this guy, you might want to say that again, when you're testing it, that, oh, it's good. Oh, it's good. And then right here, there's a common misconception that this hits the graph more than one time. But if you actually zoom in on that part, it's actually clear that there's a point here, and then there's a point here, and then there's a point here, and a point there, and they're all slightly to the left and to the right of each other. So this guy passes the vertical line test. And then this means it is a function. All right. Bada bing, bada boom. That's it for now. Have fun.